What's going on, guys? Winner Kills here. We are back with another post-commentary duel video. Don't be surprised. Don't be surprised. We're back. We got Paleozoic. It's your favorite Paleozoic player. Every time I've had this guy on, you guys always give him some good praise. He's got that Sir playmat looking so clean. Playing Paleozoic, of course, and on the left, we've got our True-Draco player. Should be a pretty interesting matchup, as you can tell. Anti-spell fragrance being flipped up immediately. We will be able to clear that out of the way, no problem, by tribute summoning for that Majesty Maiden and then tributing away that Disciples to clear that out of the way, no problem. Terraforming being activated, going for no other than Diagram. Just, it's pretty funny how easily he was able to out that anti-spell very, very quickly. Heritage being activated. See if our Paleo player has a response. It will be tributed for another Majesty Maiden. I'm assuming he used the additional normal. Now, if it goes through, he's able to keep it. Keep that heritage. He'll be able to get an extra draw off of it. But I believe that's Canadia being activated. That trap card, Paleozoic trap card. Not entirely sure. Breakthrough skill being activated, as well as Wabaku on separate chains. So I believe when Majesty Maiden went to attack, he then changed Wabaku, getting Hallucigenia and Morella on the board. Main phase 2, looks like he's activating Cards of Demise. I believe since he had no cards in hand, he gets to draw into 3. He did not take any battle damage this turn anyway, regardless, because of the Wabaku. And now, in hand, it looks like he's got a spell and 2 traps. One of them looks like to be Skill Drain. Skill Drain, I definitely think, would be very, very good against the Paleozoic matchup. Stop a lot of plays from happening, shutting down the Toad engine, and making it very hard for him to get into any Xyz monsters, let alone even use their effects. We'll see Diagram get activated, pop a set Terraforming, and go for what looks like to be Disciples. See if you can go ahead and use that this turn. If he does have 3 True-Draco cards in grave, Disciples, Majesty Maiden, and Heritage all going to get shuffled back into the deck. See if he can't pick up another card, draw into a total of 4 cards already this turn. Plenty of draw power. That card will get set, though. Does not want to have to discard it due to the effect of Cards of Demise, which he had activated previously. He's going to pass it over, as you saw, to our Paleo player. He does have a rank 2 available, and it looks like that's exactly what he's going to go into. Totally awesome, hitting the board. Coming out at 2200, this we know. And I think Majesty Maiden obviously has a lot more attack, especially with that 300 boost given by Diagram. We're going to see the attempt of Toad being activated to summon out Dewfrog. Maiden will activate in response. Toad will negate it, and then Toad will return itself, attributing itself to activate the effect to negate, and then returning itself back to the extra deck with, of course, its secondary effect once it's the grave. It's going to return totally awesome. We did see, like I said, I'm pretty sure we saw a Skill Drain in the hand of the True-Draco player. So it will be curious to, I'm curious to see as when he is going to go ahead and activate that. At what point will he, you know, believe it to be best to activate that? We'll see Disciples getting tribute. It looks like a super rare copy of Disciples, looking very clean. I was unaware that the, probably happened when I was taking my break, but unaware that a lot of the True-Draco cards actually got reprinted, and some of them look very, very nice. I think Apocalypse and Disciples. Leave off that Diagram. He did end up adding Ignis. Duality going to go into a Cards of Demise. Very good draw there. March of the Monarchs getting tributed for Ignis. Feels though is probably not necessary, since he does, as we know, what looked like to be a Skill Drain. So if that comes down at some point, you know, he won't have to worry about losing that March of the Monarchs. We'll get to draw into 3 there because he has no cards in hand. Getting the most he possibly can out of the Cards of Demise. Activating another Terraforming, of course. Going to go for Gigantic Diagram here. activating another copy of it, setting 1. He could use the pop to search effect again here, and I don't doubt that he's going to, attributing away that True-Draco Apocalypse for another copy of Disciples. Going to use that pop effect to clear his own Majesty Maiden off the opponent's side of the board, and then use Disciples to shuffle 3 back into the deck, get another draw here. The draws are very real with this one. One thing about True-Draco, a good enough build, the consistency is just paramount. Like, it is, I don't think unrivaled. I think it is like unrivaled like by any deck right now. I don't know. I would say pendulums are definitely very consistent as well, but the draw power that you get out of True-Draco is just incredible. We'll see Swap Frog hit the board via special summon, discarding Ronin Totem, which is always a plus. Anytime you, as a Toe player, you get to do that, it just saves a lot of time, especially when you get to discard that Ronin. March of the Monarchs going to get activated. So anything that is not tribute summons, its effects are going to be negated. That's going to hurt him out, hurt him a lot here, given that, of course, anything that the Paleozoic player puts down is not going to be tributed summon. Of course, everything is very low level, or they're just trap cards getting summoned from the graveyard. Obviously, great synergy to work along here with the True-Draco stuff. Ignis, of course, perfectly unaffected by this. And I think Ignis has a attack of 2,700 right now, that is including the 300 attack boost. We're gonna see a Link summon here, though, putting what looked like to be Ronin Totem and Swap in the grave for it. Ronin coming out again, Swap Frog coming out, and then we're going to see double Mastar Boy hit the board. However, I still don't think that's going to be enough to get around the March or the Monarchs Erupt. I just don't think it's going to be enough. Perhaps trying to just stall out here for as long as possible until he is able to perhaps get his engine going a little bit more. You know, he's got 2 Mastar Boy. I think the only thing he's really trying to go for right now is to perhaps, you know, at some point in the future when they get destroyed or leave the field by battle or destruction, to add stuff back. We'll see him use the Morella on board with the Ronin Totem to go into a totally awesome here. And that, detaching, perhaps for cost, even though the effect will get negated via the Monarchs Erupt. It will still get destroyed, though, by battle. Losing that Toad, though. Now, we'll be able to use the Engrave effect, though, to add stuff back. Like I said, I think the only thing he's really trying to do at this point is to perhaps use these Mastar Boys as just scapegoats to perhaps be able to stall, add things back until he's able to clear off this March of the Monarchs or Monarchs Erupt. I believe that's what the card is called. It's been so long since I played Monarch cards. I believe it is called the Monarchs Erupt, though. I don't know why I've been calling it the March of the Monarchs. I'm getting it confused with another Monarch card. I apologize for that. Dragonic Diagram going off here to destroy Disciples. We'll see him get a search off of this, of course, adding True-Draco Apocalypse to hand. Still has a big upper hand, though, on the Paleozoic player here. That Monarchs Erupt really holding him back. We'll see him get a draw off of the Heritage, setting 2 more back row there in the main phase 2. Passing it back over to the Paleozoic player. Checking the graveyard. A lot of traps that he really can't get out, regardless. No traps of his own to activate, and he's pretty much at the will right now of the True-Draco player based on what traps he wants to activate. Probably trying to activate as little as possible in, you know, hopes to stop any of those Paleozoics coming out of the graveyard. All he's got to do is just sort of coast at this point. Ignis still in control right now, being the big boss on the field. The most attack points, able to easily get over those 1,400 attack Mastar Boys. Dragonic Diagram being activated here to tribute Heritage. And it looks like that is going to be it for Game 2, or Game 1, my bad. That's going to be it for Game 1. And now we'll head into Game 2 here. The Paleozoic player starting things off by setting 4. And then passing over immediately to our True-Draco player now here, contemplating what he's going to do into those 4 back row. Looks like setting 1 and tributing for Ignis. He's going to, of course, now use Disciples here to get that destruction effect off here. And going to attempt to try to destroy one of his back row. However, we'll see Canadia get activated in response to that activation. To try and book that Ignis face down. However, he will still get that search off, adding looks like another Disciples, and then going for a copy of Terraforming here, and of course probably try and go search for Diagram. Diagram now getting activated. Looks like to have been a Canadia to book one of his monsters. Still has to worry about those 3 set back row. An Imperial Order getting activated now. That's going to be a pretty big hit, I would say, to the True-Draco player. That's going to stop a lot of his spells getting activated. Any Pot of Dualities, any Cards of Demise, any Pot of Desires. Debating here on what cards to set down, where to set them. Perhaps not going to set any of them at all. Perhaps don't want to risk losing them. Here, we'll take that 700 life points here in the standby phase from that Imperial Order. Setting 1 and going to pass over to the True-Draco player. Going to take another 700 points of damage. Ignis now getting flipped face back up. No longer under the effect of that Canadia as it was from last turn. I believe that's Canadia. Ignis going to attempt to swing in here. Of course, with that added attack bonus. I believe that it is double Canadia that have been activated thus far. We'll get flip face down. Still getting that search effect though as the chain links resolve. Setting 2 more back row face down. Still probably at this point looking for a way to get rid of. Ooh, that's kind of rough. Still, I was gonna say looking for a way to get rid of that Imperial Order, but looks like Heavy Dust Storm will clear out a Heritage and a Disciples. The Paleozoic player, though, in the process of doing that, must have understood the risk. In the process, will lose his Imperial Order due to the destruction factors that both Heritage and Disciples offer. Toad swinging into the defensive. Ignis, perhaps too much defense on that boy. And we're going to see in the standby phase here, him detaching Canadia and attempting to summon out a Dupe Frog from deck. That will get negated. Tributing a Dupe Frog from hand, negate the effect of Ignis, set that to his side of the board. Things are looking a little bit on the up and up here for the Paleozoic player. Going to set 1 back row, face down, tribute it, or destroy it with Dragonic Diagram, rather. And then he will get, of course, the search that Diagram does offer, and then using Apocalypse to destroy his own Ignis. We'll see Majesty Maiden get added to the hand here. This could be fueling, perhaps, a Disciples play. He does probably have plenty of cards in grave at this point to, activate and resolve that card. Maybe has another Diagram in hand at this point. There's a Heritage. We'll get a draw off that, or 2. Has tributed probably, plenty of True-Dracos at this point during this turn. To be exact, probably 2 to get those draws that Heritage offers. Just another great card for the deck, for the archetype itself. Another Dragonic Diagram getting activated. You see here if he goes to perhaps destroy with that, and he will destroy the Apocalypse from hand. And that's going to search Revival of the True-Draco. Return of the True-Draco. I get the effects mixed up. We're going to see a mono hit the board first here. Additional tribute summon coming down for Majesty Maiden, tributing that Revival of the True-Draco. That will pop the Totally Awesome, who has already spent its ability at this turn to negate. In fact, that doesn't even matter, because the Amano is there to stop it from even using its graveyard effects. And in the standby phase of our Paleozoic player, he's going to be met with that Imperial Iron Wall. That's going to be rough. However, he is going to get the chance to respond. I believe here that this is how the Paleozoics work. When a trap is activated while it's in the graveyard. So he will be able to get to respond to try and summon Canadia off the activation of that Imperial Iron Wall, and that will trigger the effect of Majesty Maiden to be able to add a Masterpiece to hand. This boy always has got a frog in hand. Never underestimate him. He's always got a frog. Trying to pull something out of his sleeve here. Let's see. Dupe Frog now on the board. He could go into a rank 2, but there it is. The Solemn Judgment. He'll pay all the life points. He don't care. That is a smack to the face right there. Pretty much shutting down any chances of him winning this duel. And then we're going to see that diagram here. Lastly, destroy an iron wall to grab disciples. To recycle 3 back into the deck. Iron wall, no answer for it by the Paleozoic player. It looks like no answer for this card. And there's the handshake. And that's going to do it. The True-Draco player defeats the People's Champ when it comes to Paleozoic. True-Draco, of course, like I said, taking the match 2-0 here. Sort of grindy match, but I just don't think the Paleozoic player was able to, you know, get the upper hand at any point during this duel. As I saw, you know, very hard to be able to gain any leverage. We didn't really see him come out strong with any, you know, double-toed plays. The back row that he was able to get set up, not enough to really stop the removal power that True-Draco had, and perhaps some of the side deck cards he wanted to see, maybe things like Unending Nightmare, hand traps like Ghost Ogre. We didn't get to see those, so that is probably perhaps some of the reason why he was not able to pull out the victory there, or even win a game here in this match. Of course, best out of 3. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, be sure to leave a like. Let me know what you think down in the comment section below. And as always, Winner Kill signing out. We'll see ya in the next one.